And welcome back. We have the Orange County Fire Authority today. Captain Steve Concialdi is here, along with Community Education Specialist Christy Watson is back with us. Nice to see you both.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's good we could get you on today. And our first topic is one that you've talked about many, many times, I think almost every segment.
Right.
And that is, of course, you're calling this April Pools Month. But really, you look at this year-round, and of course, it's water safety in general, correct?
Right, because these are tragedies. These are preventable. Last year, we had 85 drownings in Orange County. 41 of those were fatal. And I could tell you, because I'm told about all of them, they're all preventable.
Yeah.
And you know, Christy's a big educator with us. She does a lot of education, and it's a passion for all of us.
Christy, what you do as community education specialist, do you go out to community events? Do you go to schools and things like that? Is that something that part of your job?
Yes, we do. So we are going to be having a water safety drowning prevention kickoff, and that's going to be held on April 26th at Blue Buoy Swim School. We're going to be focusing more so on sidewalk CPR, but set aside from that, we do go out and offer programs for the community that's free of charge.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's absolutely free of charge. We have been focusing on creating new public safety announcements. So one is geared towards adults, and the second one is geared towards children. And what's new about the one geared towards children is that it's a child reaching out to his or her peers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. I know that, Steve has talked about this many times, that what I find interesting is that you had some recent drownings here, 6 of them are fatal, and half of them are people over the age of 50. And we just, I think a lot of times don't think about that. You think, okay, an adult's in the pool there and they're by themselves, they're an adult.
Right, so out of the 41 fatal drownings last year, 19 of them were over 50 years old, and that they were all swimming alone. They were either in a backyard pool or a spa, a community pool, swimming, just enjoying the water, or sitting there next to the water and something happens. So we're not sure if they've had medical emergencies, heart attack, stroke, low blood sugar, or something else happened. They jumped in, they hit their head. One lady was just outside smoking next to the pool, and we're not sure if she fell in, slipped and hit her head, but she was found in the pool. And that was the family pool that her kids grew up in. She swam. So this should not have happened, but they keep occurring.
The thing is that with drownings, they're silent.
Right.
So people always assume that, oh, I'm going to hear somebody drowning because I'm going to hear splashing and screaming. And the reality of it is that it's silent. So if you don't have anybody with you, nobody's there to help you. So our new tagline for this year is drowning is preventable, never swim alone. We recently had somebody donate money, and it's a new pilot program that we are starting in one of our cities where we're going to be offering free swim lessons to children.
Great.
Yeah, we hope to offer this through all the other cities that we serve, but looking forward to that.
That'll be really nice. Yeah, that's great that somebody gave you some funds for this, and starting kids out early is wonderful, and then you kind of keep it up. And even for adults, we have swim classes here in this community. There are some adults who maybe they never really learned how to swim, or they can just basically get around the pool, but it's it's an ongoing thing. And I know often that you've come on, you bring those tags there, kind of the designated water
watcher tags.
Yeah,
correct.
Which is it's a very good thing, but it also makes it kind of fun because you know someone that, okay, you're not going to leave your position here. You're going to keep watching, and when someone else comes in, then it's their turn. But it's a great way to keep an eye on things, especially if you have a bunch of people over, whether it's here, you might bring grandkids here, or even if you have a private home, you have a bunch of people over, that one person for a certain amount of time is there to watch. Right. We got a good story here. On the screen here, we have one of your firefighter paramedics, Chris Trocchi, And Dr. Michael Shannon, he's the gentleman in the middle here, and at the bottom, you see what used to be his vehicle. But this is a really kind of a circle of life story, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, explain this here.
Dr. Michael Shannon, a lot of your residents will know him. He's been a pediatrician for 42 years. So he was my pediatrician. When we moved to Mission Viejo in the beginning of 75, there were only a few doctors. And so I was 4 years old at the time, and so he was my pediatrician.
Wow.
And so now he is the pediatrician to a lot of our kids. So I have, 3 kids.
Yeah.
And
My child.
That's amazing.
And he is amazing. He really is. So what happened with this situation was, what we didn't realize, Chris, when he was born, he was premature, just over 3 pounds. He was given a 50-50 chance for survival.
And Chris, by the way, here is
This is
on
Chris
the
right
left
here,
there, yeah.
on Dr. Shannon's right. And so Dr. Shannon was his pediatrician. He stayed by the side of Chris's parents in those initial days when it was touch and go. I mean, it was outstanding. Well, 30 years later, Dr. Shannon was going to meet a friend for his morning walk around the harbor there, and he was driving his SUV, and there was a large truck that had pulled in front of him, pulled out of a parking lot area as he was coming down PCH, and Dr. Shannon went right into the truck, and he was trapped. And so the car caught fire, and Chris Trokey and the crew from Engine 29, they're one of the busiest paramedic engines we have in the county. This was, they were just returning from, they said, their 5th wake up that night, so up 5 times. Fortunately for them, they were coming back to the station, and this accident happened, so they were there within minutes. And so as they arrived on scene, Dr. Shannon's feet and his legs were burning, so they quickly pulled a hose line, they extinguished the fire, and then he was trapped. And then as more units from Orange County Fire came in, they had to use the jaws of life to extricate him. So Dr. Shannon spent 45 days in the hospital, had a couple of toes that had to be amputated because of the burns and so forth, but he's recovered. And so this was St. Baldrick's event. They brought them both together, and through the whole thing, Chris's parents said, you know who that was? That was your pediatrician. Which so the story kind of grew, and they didn't realize the extent of this. And so now Chris has his own little boy, few-month-old boy, Porter, and Dr. Shannon's Porter's pediatrician.
Wow.
So it is just, it's amazing.
That really is. What a story. And you never think of something like that, or you see it in a movie, and what a great story. And the fact that he was your pediatrician.
Right, and he's Christy's. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
It's amazing how connected he is into all of our lives.
Is he based in Mission Viejo area?
Well, it's south, so Laguna Hills, Aliso Viejo, San Clemente. He has a few offices.
Wow, very interesting. Another good story here that turned out well. 40-year-old man was saved after he went into full cardiac arrest by your firefighter paramedics. And, you certainly don't think of a 40-year-old having a heart attack, right? And you can see here, he's, he looks pretty fit. What's the story behind this?
This is me. This is Patrick and his wife. They had a 3-week-old baby at the time, Grace. And something happened. He was recovering from back surgery. And we're not sure exactly what happened. Possibly the doctor said an arrhythmia, but he started having some difficulty breathing. And his wife called 911. And what's amazing about this story, this is our chief, Jeff Bowman. He just happened to come by the station to talk to the guys. And this was about 7:30 in the morning to say hi. The bells went off, and they said, "You want to come with us?" So he jumped on with them, and so he got to see firsthand. So while Patrick's wife was calling 911, the dispatcher was realizing the severity of this. And so at some point he stopped breathing and his heart stopped. Wow. So when our firefighter paramedics arrived, this is Robbie Davidson, he was on the bed and he wasn't breathing, his heart had stopped. Robbie picked him up, and he demonstrated during the press conference. He actually picked up one of our firefighters, this Jeff Johnson. JJ picked up JJ. He picked up Patrick, carried him out to the living room, and they all started working on him. And there was doctor's ambulance was there. They were integral in this whole rescue as well. And fortunately, they were able to bring him back, intubated him, started an IV, gave him drug therapy, defibrillated him, and he's happy today. And I mean, it's an amazing story. But it was the group effort of his wife recognizing the problem, calling 911 right away, removing him from the bed, starting CPR, and then advanced life support measures. And Chief Bowman there was able to talk to his wife. The mother-in-law was there. They had the baby there. It was very chaotic. But it just shows you how CPR, and if we could get to somebody right away. And I got to tell you, Christy, a few months ago, she was able to save her neighbor. She was pulling out of your driveway, and
I just so happened to take the day off. I wasn't feeling that well, and I was just about to pull out of my driveway to go get my medication from CVS, and my neighbor comes running out, and she's just in tears and said, "Help, help, he's not breathing, he's not breathing." So put my car in park, walked over, ran over, and found him hunched over, not breathing. So had her call 911, laid him on the floor, and checked for pulse. There was no pulse, so I began CPR, and he came back. The firefighters showed up. He's 101 years old.
Wow.
And she is 97 years old. So they're a great couple, and
that's amazing.
He's doing great.
Good. I thought about this morning when I was driving over. You know what, Christy? Recently, this happened to her. But it just goes to show you when we have AEDs, which you have in the community, and people know
actually, they're still looking at that. In this community. Yeah.
Okay, but they're around. You can see them at Costco's, you can see them in the airports, libraries have them, a lot of public places have them. But if you know how to do CPR and you know how to use an AED, you can save somebody. We don't save all of them. We're amazed at how many we don't save, but this is a great, look at that smile.
Yeah.
You know, I was downstairs in the lobby, and I realized that there was a community that would be offering free CPR. So CPR really is more available than people think.
Right, we have it here. We have our Disaster Preparedness Task Force. They do free CPR classes several times a year, and we get notices about that. And they do child CPR classes as well. So people take advantage of that. We announce it here when those classes come up, but it's free. Couple things that you both brought this up, in that when you're doing CPR, you want somebody on a firm surface, not on a bed. Am I right?
It does not work on the bed because you need something on their back. So basically, when you're doing compressions, you're compressing the sternum, and it's pushing on the heart, and that moves the blood and the oxygen throughout the body.
Okay.
So you have to be on a hard surface. So you have to carefully remove that person onto the floor.
Okay, and that's a very good, very good point.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, great story.
Thank you very much.
I mean, that's terrific, and the fact that you were there to help, and 101 years old, that's what I find amazing.
I think if the most important thing that people would understand is that if they don't know how to do CPR, when they call 911, to listen carefully, because our dispatchers are going to guide them through how to do CPR.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you for both coming on. I'm glad we could fit you in today. And two great stories here. And do you have, by the way, on your website, are you going to be, do you have things about this, your events coming up for the pool safety?
We will.
You will, yes. Okay, great. So you can go to the Orange County Fire Authority and their website, and just from there, I have it listed right there, and get information on that. And also, you know, for this community here, we have a lot of different clubs. You can see here that if you want Christy to come by or anyone else and conduct some sort of a class or seminar, that's what they're here for. They're here to help. That's why she is the community education specialist.
Or smoke alarms. If they need a smoke alarm installed, we'll happily do that.
They'll help you out. Thank you very much. Good to see you both.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, we'll be right back. That's